Am I the butthole for refusing to buy a coworker lunch? I, 23 male, have a coworker, 25 male, who is a mooch. If you get something for lunch, he wants you to get him something too, but expects you to buy it for him because since you mentioned it, he says you offered. At first I thought maybe he had money problem, but then overheard him laughing and bragging to someone in another department about how he was able to scam lunches out of his coworkers, and he's attempted to bully a free meal out of someone more than once. His general entitled attitude is one of the many reasons I don't like him. So yesterday my girlfriend and I had lunch together. He overheard me confirming before I left and asked what I was bringing him, and I said nothing. He said I brought it up, and I corrected him. No, I was confirming we were still good and he was eavesdropping on my conversation. He started complaining, so I had if he gave me money for his food I'd bring him something, but I wasn't going to buy him food. He started complaining about it again and I got irritated and said no money no food, and then I left. When I got back my boss said my co-worker complained I was being hostile. I told him what happened and how he's constantly trying to weasel free food out of people, even some of the people he knows are struggling. So my boss asked around and several others collaborated what I said. My coworker got dragged into the office and now he's pissed that I told on him and how he was just kidding. Most of the office thinks he got what he deserved, but a few think it wasn't worth getting him in trouble over. Today no one he asked told him what they were doing for lunch, and he's whining that we're alienating him. I said he alienated himself because of his behavior. He said I'm in butthole, but I don't really feel bad that a mooch who thinks it's funny to scam his coworkers thinks I'm in butthole. My little brother is on here a lot and suggested I post though, so am I the butthole? Definitely NTA. He got what was long overdue. It's not like you went out of your way to narc on him, he is the one who told on himself by whining to your boss about you. Had he not brought up the issue and forced you to defend your actions, what did he think was going to happen? That you were just going to roll over and let your boss bollock you for no reason? None of this would have happened. Good on you for standing up for yourself and your coworkers and hopefully, giving him a life lesson. What are you getting for lunch? Edit, well, this blue. Thanks for the silver and the award, kind Redditors, D, web link. What are you getting for lunch? My mom often replied a crap sandwich. My mom's was fried farts and cracker dust. OMG. My mom always said, fried farts and pickled buttholes. Is there some common source for all these little sayings? Ours was crap on a shingle. My Aussie mom always said a knuckle sandwich if you keep asking. My mom always joked she would give me fried patience. It sounds better in my native language though. What's your native language so I can Google listen? My native language is Romanian and the word is R? BD? Re-PR? GT, but Google sucks at reading Romanian so it doesn't really sound like in real life. And it's also really impossible to translate. My dad's was chicken crap. My Aussie parents said crap on toast without the bread. My Aussie parents said crap on a stick, bring your own stick. Good times. Smoked crap and tomato, courtesy of my mom. We're South African. Same except with a side of fresh air. My dad, Aussie, used to say bread and duck under the table. Never quite understood that though. My pop used to say this too, you get bread, then duck under the table before something happens, haha. My pop is a strange man though. We were at a fancy restaurant and the waiter came for the drinks order, and Pop started making his food order. The waiter was a young fella, thought he would joke around a bit and said, "Are you a bit hungry, mate? We can take food order now if you like." Pop looked at him with the straightest face I've seen and replied, "Yeah, I'm so hungry I could eat the ass of a low-flying duck." Safe to say that waiter's life changed that night. I've never seen someone fail so miserably at keeping a laugh in. We all had a bit of a giggle. Crap on a shingle is a real food reference. Web link. Yep, good old SOS. It was a holdover from Dad's days in the Navy. That's what they called chipped beef and cream sauce served on bread. Afterwards other forms came out like chicken a la king, which just had chicken, peas, and sometimes carrot bits. The way my dad made it, and he was a Navy cook briefly in World War II, was actually quite yummy. I still make SOS from time to time. Crap on a shingle, crap on a cracker, poop on a scoop, dingleberries and a side of canaries, French fries, toots, or turds, on toast, crap on chips and any other number of names, same concept, chipped beef on different items lol. Burnt foreskins on toast. My dad's friend and former coworker is also a Navy veteran and clued me into that one a few years ago. LOL. I had a former Coast Guard service member who worked at my office and he used to make us SOS with toast once a year. It was awesome. We always called crap on a shingle a poor man's food. Same with chicken and turkey a la king and cream peas on toast. All of which are my favorite, because it's what my grandma cooked when they didn't have much money. Now the meat is too overpriced for SOS. Both my parents grew up fairly poor, my grandparents even more so. My grandma grew up in a corrugated tin shack with dirt floors, and despite being a vegetarian, she still made me biscuits and gravy when she babysat me and my sister. I had this with my ex-Marine dad a couple times, right up until he called it SOS, and then I couldn't get myself to look at it anymore, let alone eat it. Well, that's what it is, boy. Stop being a wuss and eat your chow. Dad was Navy. I haven't had that in forever. I kind of miss it. It was very tasty. Dad always said his was different than on the ship, it had flavor. From Maryland, love me some SOS. Vermonter and it's delicious. My Gram, who grew up in the Great Depression and was in her early 20s during World War II, made it often. In terms of the crap you put on the shingle, that recipe calls for better than we ever used. We got the cheap lunch meat, the kind that's so thin, if you hold it up to the light, you can see through it. I think it's still around, Carl Budding or something like that. Or to use ground beef to make it as the recipe said you could as a substitute. If you had that, just make the same sauce and dump it over noodles and call it stroganoff. I never went hungry as a kid, but there were times when it was really tight. Of course we kids had no idea, and later when we were better off and we'd ask our mom to make it, she'd roll her eyes and sigh at us. In my house, the response was I don't know. What are you making? Whatever you bring me is fine. My mom has a tea towel with a crap on a shingle recipe on it. She was fed it as a child and refuses to eat now, so my aunt bought it as a joke. My grandfather, possibly the inventor of dad jokes, always liked to say we were having lettuce, turnip and pea. My mom's was bread and like it. Poop on a stick. Maybe fried farts are a regional food. My mom said the same. The good old days, haha. My mom just said food. No imagination, that one. NTA. You didn't narc, he did. So if I understand correctly, some of your office thinks that it's fine for him to try to get you in trouble, but not fine for you to defend yourself with the truth. Guess you know who to avoid going forward. I know so many doormats who are so conflict averse they get upset when others stand up for themselves. I'm a conflict magnet and I get upset when people don't stand up for themselves at the smallest slight. I'm the same way. As a non-confrontational person, I have no problem with this. I'm somewhere in between. Yeah, it's good if people stand up for themselves, but I also get why it's sometimes just easier or safer to ignore things. Especially when it's random strangers, because the benefits of standing up for yourself are often pretty minor. You'll probably never see them again anyway, and chances are they won't change their problematic behavior just because a stranger called them out, but the risks can be pretty big. So if, say, someone being catcalled judges I'm going to ignore this gross dude, because I don't feel safe calling them out, yeah, I might get upset, but not with the person being made to feel unsafe. My wife can be this way. She hates it when I correct people wearing a mask like it's a chin diaper, or enforce stopping at a crosswalk I'm using. I won't put myself directly in front of a car where I'm in danger, but I will very much make them think I will, so they slam on their brakes then stare them down while pointing at the crosswalk. I also ride my bike through people's lawns if their sprinkler is spraying across the bike path, or if their car is parked blocking it. Basically, I'm in butthole to buttholes, but since it bugs her, I try to keep it to a minimum around her. Geez, good thing we aren't friends or we'd be wreaking havoc. I'm the exact same way, and others who aren't used to it, or even my fiancé, occasionally think I'm being a tremendous butthole for not just letting it happen. Larry David? There, web link. Oh, you've met my brother. He's the one who told the boss Original Post was being hostile. Original Post had the right to defend themselves. NTA, I agree. You hadn't planned to talk to your boss that day. The mooch made a bogus complaint. You were well within your rights to give the actual facts of the situation. Everyone you work with should love you, because you might have managed to put a leash on that dickhead. There is no way he genuinely thinks people answering his question about what they are planning to eat is an offer to get him free food. He knows what he's doing and is counting on people not wanting to confront him or argue. He sounds like a crafty entitled butthole. Glad someone else pointed this out. I'd flat out tell anyone that said it wasn't worth getting him in trouble that he tried to get me in trouble because I didn't buy him lunch. Those people are so used to acting as a ballast to constantly steady the boat that they forget that having someone rock the boat at all isn't normal, and they just get mad at other people for not working to steady along with them. Those are the people who nod and click their tongue when the young workers get ousted for some moral affront and say that's what you get for being a crap disturber. NTA, people that are just kidding don't complain about hostility to the boss. He's just pissed his con stopped working, so no, I wouldn't worry what he thinks. It's absolutely worth getting him in trouble over when he's trying to get you in trouble. Protecting yourself from the scammer isn't an odd thing to do at all. Yeah, he can't be mad that you told the boss what happened when the only reason you did is because he made a fake hostility complaint to the boss. He's a hypocrite among his other issues. Also, now that the boss knows about, people are less scared of coworkers' bullying and retaliation attempts. Original Post has not only freed themselves, they've freed everyone else too. Yep. What's the odds of him still being there after another month or so? He'll be off to greener pastures, untouched territory for his next scam. A classic case of Schrodinger's douchebag, one who makes douchebag statements, particularly sexist, racist or otherwise bigoted ones, then decides whether they were just joking or dead serious based on whether other people in the group approve or not. Obviously in this case it was about his actions of being a moocher, but this definition definitely fits. NTA. Moving forward, you'll want to take a step back and continue being the professional here rather than engaging with him. As Mark Twain said, never argue with an idiot. They will drag you down to their level and beat you with experience. So the next time he tries to engage with you and your coworkers on this topic, simply remark, "I'm sorry you feel that way." He's a manipulative mooch, so don't give him room to maneuver, and don't give him reason to go the boss about you, not that you've done that in any way, but he's going to be looking for things now. Remain professional, even be kind, outside of buying him anything, including food, but don't give him a way in. This is a man with definite idiot-level experience, and you don't need him dragging you down. Also, just an edit note, in the second to last paragraph I think you meant corroborated, not collaborated. This just be professional and don't engage any more than absolutely needed. And not the butthole. Yeah, really can't stand manipulative people like this. Just rise above and he will soon realize he's out of options, and people who will humor him. I had a coworker once who would do the same thing. A few of us would go to a bar after work every Friday night, and though he was never explicitly invited, he lived nearby and would often just show up. And of course, we weren't horrible people, and generally it's nice to see people outside of work, so he'd usually join our table, but it only seemed to be for the sake of getting drinks bought for him. Then he'd sort of linger around like a bad smell and we'd have to formulate a plan to get away. Sounds rude, but it was the same kind of mooch behavior. Not sure how people can be so unaware that their intentions are transparent. I don't know if you've heard of the second version, never wrestle with a pig. You'll both get covered in crap, and the pig will like it. You just reminded me of it and I felt compelled to share. Never play chess with a pigeon. It'll just knock the pieces over, crap on the board and strut around like it won. And don't pick anything up for him, even if he gives you money. Sorry bro, too pressed for time. Not sure I'd say sorry you feel that way, because I wouldn't be. I'd use it's unfortunate you feel that way. Still professional but more accurate. Empathy versus sympathy. Very important. Not the butthole. I friend dumped someone who knew my budget of $2/meal. I did not go out, and she would frequently say, "Oh, come with me, don't worry about it," when I said I can't go to the lunch place because of my budget. Then I would owe her forever. She would round up how much she spent, and round down any forced purchases I made to repay her, if they even counted. She would also buy things at the store for me that I didn't want or ask for, then I owed her for that too. I have no sympathy. She chased away all her friends and her family can't tolerate her. She would also buy things at the store for me that I didn't want or ask for, then I owed her for that too. No, you really didn't. Good for you for kicking that crap to the curb. To be frank, I don't think anybody in history who ever said sorry you feel that way was actually sorry. It's one of the most non-apologies there is. Good advice of dealing with complaining colleagues who try to suck you in with their drama: sorry you feel this way, remain professional, be kind but don't let them squirm their way in. Thanks. Also NTA. Good judgment and sound advice here. Always cover your ass, not the butthole. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.